be. They got 4 touchdowns already. Set the kick away. 28-0. A statement so far in the first half for second-ranked Oklahoma. Pete Kuba, he of the blue kicking shoe, and Lance Young and Michael Wagner waiting on a chance. Again, it goes to about the same spot, right about the 18. Wagner this time doesn't slip on takeoff, but he slipped when he got tagged right there by Brandon Shelby. This Oklahoma team is fired up in every capacity so far as we check our Pacific Life game summary. With that, special teams have been very, very special. This is Yelp. Derek Strait blocked it. Terrence Sims, after the miss by Forrest, spins on top of it for a touchdown. And then a partially blocked punt right there set up a short field for the Oklahoma offense. And Quentin Griffin said, "Oh, my big guys are out in front of me. I'm heading to the pylon." So basically, they've gotten 14 points off their special team performance. One directly and one by setting up good field position. Seneca Wallace has completed only 2 passes. One to each side. And almost, he did have it picked off. Derek Strait's got it. Strait, who blocked a punt earlier, coming the other way. And he lost the ball. Now who covered it? Oklahoma says they have it, but coming out of the pile is Iowa State.
It's Montgomery with the ball.
Nope, the umpire says it's Oklahoma ball. And both coaches thinking that their team had covered it.
Hey, Bob, Brad, here's a case where the guy who recovers the football is so excited he runs away, and the officials have no idea where the ball is. He should have stood right up there and given the ball back to him.
Here's Strait. Now here's the return. Lehman leading the blocking, and the ball slipped out right there, definitely out. That looked like, as Swanee said, Oklahoma covered it. We'll get another look, and they're still standing down there trying to make an official determination, I think.
It looked like Oklahoma had the ball for sure.
Tommy Harris looked like he was on top of it.
Guys, I'm standing on the sideline. When you watch this play, they've given the ball to Oklahoma, but I think it was clearly Iowa State. He goes over the ball. The ball is squirting out right now. 83's on top of it, and he has the ball. The ball was never in possession and control by the Oklahoma player.
Should have stood up and gave it to the official then, huh?
Yep.
He should have. He was so excited, he just ran away.
Good call, Swanee. We couldn't see that one from our vantage point. And Quentin Griffin weaving inside the 15 down near the 14 as we check in with John Saunders in New York. John?
Brad, Ohio State against Wisconsin. Jim Sorgi is in there at quarterback. Brooks Bollinger had been sacked 4 times. He goes 42 yards here to Jonathan Orr, who gets it into the end zone for the touchdown, and Wisconsin grabs a 1-point lead over the Buckeyes. Brad?
You see the stat there that John had. Anthony Davis was 70 yards, trying to go to another 1,000-yard season. Wisconsin about the best around in that capacity. Iowa State's close on that statistic, but today they don't have anything to show for their offense, be it with their tailback or their Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback. It's been all Oklahoma here today. 28-0 with 8 minutes left in the half.
Seneca Wallace is 1 of 10 with 2 interceptions. Iowa State has 1 punt blocked for a touchdown and another one that was partially blocked and set up the other score.
Juwan Jones in there at tailback.
And Stoops was having to answer all those questions this week about how you play after you play Texas. You know, can you get your team up? Well, I'll say they can get them up.
That much they've gotten them up. 189 yards total, and a 3rd down upcoming. They're going to take a timeout. We're going to take one with them. 7:36 remaining in the half. All Sooners. Iowa State's ever had, and in the regular season it had been 21 years since they'd even been ranked, and right now it's just plain rank, but it's Oklahoma that's dominating. 28-0.
And this Oklahoma team is getting better and better by the half. They got better after last week's game at Texas. They're getting better this half. I'm very impressed with Oklahoma on all 3 phases of the game.
3rd down and a long 4 just inside the 15-yard line. Peoples has been one of the main targets. He's split down to the bottom of the screen, but they'll keep it on the ground. Quentin Griffin's got a first. He's got more than that. He's down to the 1-yard line. All
wave.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down, do they? Watch this run. I don't even know how he got by the first wave.
He just stayed. Everybody stayed with their man.
And almost got there.
He just couldn't keep his feet.
He deserves the give here. But it's Jones instead. Touchdown. Easy for Kiwan. His second score on the ground. Oklahoma dominating.
Very impressive. Very impressive. They're doing it with special teams, with 2 block punts and a touchdown. They're doing it with defense, with 2 interceptions, and they're doing it on offense every time they get a chance. 69 Davis pulls again, and he didn't really have anybody to block.
Remember, that followed the fumble recovery. So only having to go 20 yards in 4 plays, and the extra point is good. So the little guy got him close, and the just a little bit bigger guy got him in the end zone.
Well, Bob, you know, one of the big reasons, as you said, why Quentin was trying to get in that end zone so hard is because he's not a player in the jumbo formation. That's when they bring in the 2 backs and the big tight ends, and they're trying to get that hard 1 yard at the goal line. So he's struggling. He's going to try and get all the way into the end zone before they bring in this power back.
Tell you what, it keeps number 20 happy though too, because when Kiwan Jones comes in, it's sugar time. You know he's going to handle it, and he just powered in. They barely touched him. He got touched a lot worse after the touchdown by the celebration from his teammates.
And Bob, you brought up an interesting point the other day that Quentin Griffith is one of those guys who might be a contender for the Heisman Trophy if he just had more touches of the football.
Yeah, you know, if his numbers were better, and you know, the only way your numbers get better is if you run those in from the 5-yard line in.
Well, the other numbers that I talked about earlier, he's got a couple 200, almost 250-yard games, but he's had a couple that were way down there. And that's not just his fault. The offensive line didn't play particularly well against Alabama. Short kick taken to the 25 by Lance Young. And Young out to about the 31-yard line.
Talking about Griffin, the other thing was Kevin Wilson and Chuck Long, the offensive coordinator, said we got to get him the ball more.
Yep.
We looked at those games and says, hey, we need to get him 20 touches a game at least.
ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Aflac, ask about it at work. And Dell, flexible enterprise solutions that are easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell. So far, it's been easy as Dell for Oklahoma. They lead 35-0.
This is not fun if you're wearing a white jersey.
Wallace, sprint draw inside. Decent run that time, almost 9 yards, and more than that. In fact, it's a first down. I thought he was going to go down, and Hiawatha Rutland kept his balance and got a first down. That's the best play of the day for Iowa State.
You're on the road. You had high hopes coming in. You're down 35-0. It's raining and it's cold. The crowd is against you. There ain't many good things to say about the offense.
And Dan McCarney knows that, and he knows that if you get a punt blocked, especially if it ends up being a score, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to win.
Especially the first one of the game.
And that was the very first couple minutes of the ball game. At the 42-yard line. Here comes a blitz. And Rutland got a couple. Everidge made the stop, and Everidge has been all over the field today. Iowa State has had its troubles. They've turned it over a couple of times today, both on interceptions, and that's turned into points. And even though it's not considered a turnover, a block punt obviously is a huge, huge turn of events, and only 2 first downs. And now they've got it 2nd down and 8. From the shotgun. Wagner and Rutland both flanking Wallace, and he's trying to be heard, and the crowd comes to life here in Memorial Stadium. Here comes a blitz off the corner. Wallace in trouble, dropped the ball, still loose. Covered by Wagner, but it's way back at the 28-yard line.
Oh, boy.
Things are not going well.
Yeah. Dan's thinking this is like the first 5 years I was here.
Yeah.
Nothing went right. Stepping up, nobody's open, just drops the football. Wagner does a nice job of making bad things worse.
Jimmy Wilkerson is the guy that helped him just drop the football. Got a hand in there that knock it out. This is where you don't want to be against Oklahoma's defense.
This is when you wake up and you hope it's a nightmare.
It's reality, Seneca. It's 3rd and 24. Knock the tight end in motion. Another blitz off the corner. Trying to run by it, but they can't. They're too fast on defense. Shelby in there as a dime defender made the stop. And it's time to punt for Iowa State. And we've said that way too many times today.
Well, they've punted 5 times. They've had the ball 8 possessions. They've punted 6, and they've had 2 interceptions.
Yelks had 1 blocked and 1 deflected. And Antonio Perkins still hasn't touched one on the other end because they're trying to keep it out of his hands. He'll try again, but not successfully this time. Perkins from the 17. Got a block. And it was a beauty. Now weaves his way back across the field. He lost the ball. Still loose. Who's going to get this? Iowa State was close, but I think Oklahoma covered it. Nope. It's Iowa State ball on the bottom of the pile.
Oklahoma should have had it, but he just couldn't cover it.
Nick Moser has got it, and it's 1st and goal.
Well, that's the break that McCarney was looking for to get this thing turned around. This guy has run back 2 punts for touchdowns and an interception for a touchdown.
I tell you what, he might have had an alley if he could have gotten out right there.
He has big playability. He just put that one on the ground. The ball is wet from all the rain, and it comes out. I thought Perkins got it back, but he didn't.
Moser got it at the 1-yard line. First play run all day in Oklahoma territory. Couldn't be a better spot for the Cyclones. 1st and goal at the Sooner 1-yard line. Rutland stop short.
No, I don't like that. Yeah, it's too deep. He's lined up too deep. He's dancing around the 5-yard line. You need to run things quickly down here so the defensive line and linebackers are going to be across the line of scrimmage as quickly as they can get there. You don't need anything slow developing in the backfield.
Actually lost about a half yard. Rutland stays in there at the tailback spot. 2nd and goal, Iowa State. Wallace, option, pitch, Rutland. Oh, he just swarmed under a loss of about 3.
Too much speed defensively.
Pasha Jackson, Eric Bassey, they're both there to meet him.
Too much speed from the defense.
There's the pitch, and you can see a lot of crimson and cream coming over there.
4 guys out there. Wilkinson, the defensive end, is even out there.
Now it's 3rd and goal back at the 4. You might want to think quarterback draw here. Or will they put it up? They desperately need points. Do the Cyclones. Wallace, incomplete.
Tried to get it to the wide receiver who had single coverage, and he was jammed at the line of scrimmage. He didn't have a chance.
Flag down. They're talking to Oklahoma as though they have the option here, so apparently it's a legal procedure against Iowa State. Might have been Rutland motion, and it's been declined, so it's 4th and goal at the 4.
The play that got this thing started in the wrong direction for Iowa State was the first play.
That's right.
Lost yardage, then they went backwards from there. An option around the left side, lost yardage.
And McCarney knows he's got to go for it, so does his quarterback. But I'll tell you, if they don't get it in the end zone, this place is going to come unglued. A proud defense that's given up basically nothing today doesn't want to give up a score.
Well, you got to use your strength and get your quarterback, your Heisman candidate, outside the pocket.
We'll find out if they do when we come back. Timeout with 2:27 remaining first half.